Yeah, team, let me continue JavaScript webinar part 2 from this array. So what is an array? If you want to represent a collection of the items are nothing but array. So same like object, arrays are represented in two ways. One is the literal, second one is the object type. So in the literal, you can able to use the square braces. So next object is nothing but a new array. OBJCT object, that is the technical word. Okay, na team? To create an object, we are using the new object. To create a array, we are using object type. So new array is nothing but object. But in the real time, which one is the best? Creating an object with a new is always costlier. So sometimes people may say like, so this is the easy, that is the tough. Where to be tough, where to be easy, it is not answer. So programming language burden. Okay, if you are creating an object with a new array, it will take extra things to be. Okay, so but if I say server side, it is the very costlier if you are creating any object. That's what we are creating interfaces. Okay, so now I want to access items from an array by using the index. So in the array, the indexes are items will be 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so items are defined 0, 1, 2, 3. If you want to access by using the index. So next, for how to add or insert item to an array. If you want to insert our item to an array, so simply now I'm explaining the CRUD operations on a top of array. CRUD is nothing but a create, read, update, delete. Read is nothing but a select. Select is done. So next, how to create our insert. So how many ways to create our insert? There are three ways. First one is the push. Push is an array method you need to add. Where this push will be add? Always push will be add last index the position. It will be created new index at the last and it will. Sir, I want to add a first index position by using the unshift. Unshift will add at a 0th index position. Okay, and it will restructure a remaining. Splice. I don't want to add a first or last. I want to add at a specific index position. If you want to add a specific index position, you need to use this one. What is that one? Splice. Slice is different. Splice is different. Splice will take three parameters. So one is the item. Okay. So first item. Second one is the delete count. So wait. First one is the index. Second one is the delete count. Next one is the item. Okay. So index where you want to add delete count. Do you want delete any items? No. So while you are adding, put it as a 0. And finally, okay, item. Okay, for example, 0th position, let me remove 2 items and let me add some name. Okay, see here is splice. Here is the example. So yet second index 0, 1, 2. Second index, I'm just adding some object. Okay, this is about add. If you want to add, push, unshift, splice. So they will ask in the interview how to add item to. You want to target for the 30 lakhs with the 3 years of simple, you should be clarity and clearly you need to give the answers. So if you want to add item to an array, there are three ways. So first one is the push, unshift, splice. So push will add a last, unshift will add a 0th index position, splice will add at a specific index position. Like this, give the answers definitely. Then that job is for you. Okay. So not only about the job to be changed, if you want to, you will become a very clear. Okay, so next, how to update item in array if you want to update by using the index. Okay, next, how to delete if you want to delete, push last index position, pop will remove last index, unshift, shift, splice, splice. Second, simply say the delete count. Okay, so next, I just listed some array functions. I just listed some array functions. Okay, so concat if you want to join two arrays. Okay, copy, so entries. Okay, this is not supported in the I11, so no need to use. So just it will return the keys. Okay, for example, if you are having an array, it will be created as a object on the top of that array. So every is nothing but I'm having an array. So now I'm just explaining and we see a few examples just after this session, either today or tomorrow or later in this week. Just go through the example and complete one example. Still, if you have a doubt, let me know. Okay, every means so I'm having one array. Okay, in that array, I need to be check, for example, 10 students are there. How I can able to say that? So 10 students are joined successfully today or not? So today 10 student attendees are existed, then it is. At least one student is absent, then in the voting also. They are saying 100% means so 1000 voters, 1000 given the vote, 1000, 100%, 100%. One left, 99. Two left, 98. So like this, if you want to check a condition and satisfy everything is nothing but a every. So, sir, at least one is nothing but a sum. At least one item is present is nothing but a sum. So next filter. All these use cases we seen in our project. Dot filter. So what is the purpose of a filter? So filter is nothing but to filter an item based on a condition. So see here. Here we are filtering some data. So by using this filter, we can able to filter. Okay, filter. Filter will return a filtered item. Find will return a first matched item. Filed will return a item. Filter will return all the match. Find index will return first match. For each simply loop through the items. So next includes check array contain the specified element or not. Okay, index of will return a index. If you want to join a convert a string, convert array to a string, simply use the join. Okay, so what it means, join means, for example, where arr array is equal to 1 comma 2 comma 3. Okay na? So simply arr dot join, simply I want to join by using the comma. Okay, so for example, you are using the reducer will be give the sum of the value. Dot reducer. Okay, so last index of, if you want to find a length, so map means every day you are using a map. What is the purpose of a map? Map will loop through the items. Map will loop through all the items and it will return an array. Okay, every day you are using or not? See here, where is the map? See, map. So map, if you are saying a braces, then you must use the return keyword. If you don't want to use the braces, then no need to use the return keyword. Prototype push or reduce. Reduce the values of array to a single value. So basically here, array dot reduce, you need to be say callback function and initial values. Okay, my callback function is nothing but a I comma j. So let me say like console dot log I plus j. Okay, so what is the value? And let me start this from the 0. Okay, so here you need to be create a callback function. It will be give the sum of that value. So simply create a function, call that function to a reducer and pass wait. Okay, pass it will be added. Okay, so these are the array functions. Next, to push or pop every day we are seeing. So if you want to reverse the array, sort an array, splice means it will be create a new array. To string, if you convert a string to array, can I convert directly array to a string, string to array? Not possible. JSON dot stringify. So that you need to be used. Okay, unshift, we seen it. Okay, so this is an about an array. Next, exception handling. So what is mean by exception handling? So when we need to use this exception handling. So for example, in the program, exception are coming in the program, exceptions are coming, then program execution will be terminated. Okay, So to avoid this termination, will use exception handling. Okay, so any exception is occurred in the program, so that block of the code will be terminate. So to avoid that one, let us use this exceptional handling. Okay, okay, Nati? So how, for example, so here program is terminating, right? So let me say try. Okay, inside of the try I'm creating a variable, but who has comma catch a, okay, catch a some error. See now, see internal script program Krishna, everything is perfect. So now let me remove this try and catch. Let me remove this try and catch. Now check it. Program is executing perfectly? No. So to handle this type of exception, you need to be use try and catch. Clear? So because of this try and catch, so exception will be catched. Okay, so if exception is catched, sir, I want to execute. So simply you are having the finally. So it is exception is exist or exception is not exist. Finally block will be called. Okay, for example, in this situation, it is exception, right? So see here, alert JSON dot stringify error. Okay, internal script Krishna. So let me say error directly. So that error is not coming, it is directly console source. So index.html. Okay, it was already in the exception. For example, this finally will be called when it will be called. So if you have error or not, this finally block will be called. Okay, team. So sorry, here you are adding a try, right? Whenever you are adding this one, it will become a black scope. Because of this black scope, the error is not firing. Okay, so let us produce some error. JSON dot stringify one. Okay, JSON dot stringify one is that possible? JSON dot stringify you need to be used always. Rare object. So try to create some error. Okay, so manually if you want to create a or throw exception, how to see THROW throw. So you need to be write a new exception news. So simply throw exception, that's it. Okay, so if you are using throw exception, it will be throw exception. So in some cases, for example, divided by 0 or else something. So if you want to write your own exception, simply use the throw exceptions. Okay, so create some exception so that try catch finally you can able to see it. Okay, in the alert you can able to say some alert. Okay, so this is exception handling, but in the React JS you no need to be externally write it. So for example, you are calling a API. Okay, so in the APIs every day you are calling API, right? In the API calling you are and every day you are using exception handling. How you are using? Then is the successor catch exception. So catch will be catch. Okay, so instead here, for example, you want to write some logic, try and catch also you can able to use it. Okay, so this is the way Unity be rise. Next, storages. How many storages are there? So how many types of storages are there? Local, session, cookies. Okay, there are three types of storage are there: local storage, session storage, and cookies. So all this storage we can able to see here. So in our project also we are using the storage services. So here we are creating some services called storage services. So in the local storage we are storing some value. How to store data in the, how to store data? Local storage dot set item key and value. How to get? Local storage dot get item. So same, instead of the local, you can able to use the session storage. What is the difference between session and local? For example, you are using the storage. Once you are closing this tab and going for the new tab, session will be recreated. Local means it will be keep in your browser. Cookies means how to create a cookie. Cookie means you need to be create a document dot cookie. So you need to be say like some so let me say like user data is equal to some data. So next expires. So when it will be expire, you need to be set some new date, some date you need to be set here. So once the date was crossed, automatically it will be expire. So in the application storages, you can able to see here cookies, storages, and every application will have their individual team. Okay na? So browser tool will show that specific one. So see here in our case we already have the storage, right? See, user data is in the local storage. Okay, so for example, once you are logged into the system, you don't want to expect the login, keep on in the local storage. But how to clear this local storage? Right click clear. Okay, but you need to write a conditions. It is clear, you need to be see here. The storage is not there. That's what it is asking for the login page. This type of redirections already we implemented in our project. Okay, so next in the loop, so there are three types of loops are there. What are those? For in, for off, for loop. For loop means condition. For in means when to use for in an object. Okay, so for example, let item in. If you want to loop through the item in on an array. For off means if it is the object, you need to be used. Okay, so next async and await is very important. So what is mean by async? What is mean by async? For example, in your application you are having a two API calls. So in your application you are having a two API calls. One API call is depend on another API call. Okay, so the two friends are there. Two friends has to be go to the interview. Together they are planning. One person went to come means it is the together. No, for example, one person is take say like I will take the resume don't. So now I'm going to the without resume means I mean I'm depending on some data. Okay, so that's what simply say like async. Now I will be wait until this API will be performed successfully. So once API is performed successfully, this line of code will be executed. These property types I can able to use here. Okay, this is called asynchronous program. In the interview, they will ask how to perform multiple API calls. So multiple API calls means you can able to perform, but one API call is dependent on another API call. Simply say like async and await. So async await, it will be wait until the function will be success. So await, if I say await, the function must have the async, otherwise it will not work. It will throw error. Okay, so await means the function must have async. Any questions up to here? So let me explain the closure. So here, in case of, so here, closure. What is mean by closure? So for example, if I want to be hold an variable, so how I can able to hold the variable? If I say, see here, in this situation, just everybody know, I just want to increment the counter. Okay. So let me say, for example, where counter, but this closure is not a regular use case. But if you want just a counter initially, let me say 1. Okay, so for example, let me add a function to increment it. Okay, so let me create a function increment function increment. Okay, so now this is my increment. What I will do, counter plus is equal to 1. Okay, so once it is incremented, let me show you in a alert. How many times it is calling increment? What is the value is nothing but a increment. Okay, I'm just incrementing. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, but what is the here? What is situation here? So what type of variable it is? What type of variable it is? Global variable. If it is the global variable, any can able to access. But any means nobody will not coming from the outside of the company to access. But here the concept, so anybody can able to access and modify. So anybody able to access and modify. For example, function reset. I'm just calling like a function called reset. Okay, reset means counter is equal to 1. I'm just calling this one. Okay, where so here in the increment semicolon, I'm just resetting. Okay, increment 2, always it is 2 because incrementing and you are resetting because of the situation. But now somebody is able to modify, but the closure is saying about so we can able to avoid the situation. Okay, so how to avoid this situation? So let me say constant or var or let increment is equal to simply create this logic inside of an anonymous function. How to create anonymous function? Wait, I just copied wrongly. Let me see. Okay, so let me return a function. Let me return a function. So now no outside variable team. Now no outside variable. So let me return create a function. Let counter. Now I'm going to be return counter counter plus is equal to 1. Closure is we're not using, but they will ask. Okay, so what is the benefit of the closure? So can I access this counter to reset outside? It is not possible because this is a part of increment. So a variable inside of part of the increment, it is possible to increment. No, the variable always reads reset by function. Clear? So if you create a variable outside, it is a global so that I can able to increment, but other function able to modify that variable. So now what is the situation? So to fix this one, what we need to do here, we are creating a self-invoking function. The self-invoking function will be called only once. Once it is called, it will be keep on the variable. So now I'm going to be return a counter plus 1. Okay, so once I'm returning so in function display counter value. So let me display instead of the alert, let me display inside of document dot get element by id So here some content, there is a div called content. So here I will show you dot value is equal to, I'm calling this function. Okay. So now, so this function will be calling. Yes, I know you will have the little confusion if anybody having. So here we are just changing the structure because local variable, global variable to maintain this one as a anonymous function will be. So anonymous function will be execute once, this variable always one. So now what I'm doing when I click on this one, I'm calling this one. So calling this will be call increment, the incremented value displayed on the UI. Okay, so let us test. So let us debug. It will be called this one. So that will be called this one. It is calling. So next, let me say function f11. See increment counter. What is the counter value t? What is the counter value? It is incremented or not? It is the one. No, it is incremented to 3. So now I'm returning the counter from here. From here. Okay, here I'm dollar value. Okay, okay. So what I need to say, right? Value is the 4 only. So see here, I'm just updating the value. No? Value is so the value was injected here as a 4. So let me say inner HTML. So because this is my div, right? Div means I need to be display as a inner HTML. Let me refresh. Incrementing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sir, you are incrementing, but can I reset? You can able to call reset. Okay, either from here or from here, wherever you want to call the reset, nothing will be happen. Why so? Now the variable is specific to the function, specific to there. Okay, this is called a closure. It is a variable is resetting team. No. Okay, this is called a closure. Closure is nothing but a, so it will be protected. So in the .NET Java, you know, right? Protected internal variable access modifier. So now this counter is protected. Okay, so what is the syntax here? Simply create an anonymous function here first. So how to create anonymous function? This is the way. Okay, so in the anonymous function, I'm just adding a arrow function. From this arrow function, I'm returning a content. Okay, so here is my logic. Return, I want to write some logic or not. What is my logic? Increment. To return that logic, I need to be create a function. So what it is? So I want to be increment a counter plus is equal to 1. Okay, return a counter. This is my logic. Clear? So for example, somebody earlier asking the question in the chart is called a prototype. For example, if I created an object, how to create object? Let obj is equal to key and value pair, name colon something. So later after some time, I want to add a function obj dot proto type dot. So full name is equal to here. You can able to assign some function. Okay, so already an object is created. You want to add some function or a variable to that object, you can able to use the prototype. So prototype means you can able to access the entire object. Okay, if I say object dot full name, it will not add. So if you want to add or modify the structure, so here prototype will add or modify the existing object structure. Okay, so this it will access. You can able to say alert name. It will be work. Okay. Any questions in the JavaScript? Let me go to the chart. This is only asked earlier. Closer is asked. Any asks?
What about promises?
So promises. So promise is nothing but whenever we need to be perform some API call, there only we need to be use a promises. So see here, here we are using the AXIOS. Okay. So AXIOS is the library to perform API call. So AXIOS.get, the definition of get, if I hover over, this is the type of a promise. So when we are using this promise is nothing to perform API call. That's it. Okay, promise is nothing but to perform API call, we required some syntax or a code. The code is nothing but a promise. Other than API call, just in the Google, they are giving a different example that is not correct. Only to perform API call. So what is the promise? So Sindhu is going to be promise, sir, I will definitely change the company, shift it or get it or definitely learn it. That is a promise. To achieve that promise, you need to be go through the series. Am I correct? So promise means it is the execution perfectly. We required it is perfect. So here on the logic, I'm going to be depend on the API response. So API response, if I am not getting, it is failed, right? So to make this one as a consistent, definitely we are going to get the data that we are going to be create a promise. So in the definition, if you go right here, you can able to see the logic. Okay. So next, what is mean by subscribe? So see here I'm going to get the data, right? So this will return the data, but I need to get the data or not? Team, I need to be get the data or not? So if you want to get the data, you need to be subscribe. So then is the subscription function. So then here is the subscription function. Who it is subscribed? Promise will be subscribed by the subscriber. Then is the subscription function of a promise. Once the promise function is executed, then will be get a response back. The response will we are going to be bind data to a variable state. Clear? This question will be asked in the interview. The promise and subscriber. So what is mean by promise? To perform API call, we definitely get the data. If you want to definitely get the data, you need to create that API call as a promise. So by default, you are using the AXIOS functions are the promised functions. So the response will be subscribed by using the then function. So next module scope, we explain about a module scope, right? So we are created the Redux storage. The Redux storage is nothing but a module scope. Wherever you consume this one, there you are using. Any questions, team? Okay, so just go through the series and go to the things. Just to focus on the statement. JavaScript contains statements on what are the statements I just listed. Go through that each and every concept having some statements, strings, objects, array, and any questions, sir? So let us know. Few concepts already we covered in the regular. So now I'm just to come up with a new things. So any question, just note down. You can able to ask me later also. I don't have any issue. So Ravi, I'm appreciating you. So every time whenever I'm adding the webinar without delaying, you are joining. Okay. So that's it for today, team. Any questions? I'm open for it. So let me know. I'm stopping there.